Hello there, Hidden Hermit. How you doing? The sun today is at 7 degrees Sagittarius. The moon is at 3 degrees Virgo. And today I'm doing a deck showcase of the Spirit Keepers Tarot. Now, everybody's been very excited about this, and rightly so. I have been waiting for this deck with the proverbial bated breath. This is the creation, self-published creation of Benebell Wen. If you don't know who Benebell Wen is, then allow me to educate you. So Benebell Wen is the author of this book here, Holistic Tarot. Look, and it's so big it doesn't even fit in my camera. It's a big book. Look at that. It's a huge book, and it's a cracking book. It's amazing. Everything you need to know about tarot. Great information, a brilliant reference source, lots of the pages in the chapter about inappropriate questions has been absolutely invaluable to my tarot practice. It's just cracking. I highly recommend it. You should get yourself a copy and immerse yourself in it. You could even go as far to say as, if you got this, you don't really need much else in terms of bookage and tarot. But that's that. Look at that tea stain. This is how well used and loved this book is. So yeah, and please go and visit her website. It is a wealth of amazing information about not just tarot but esoterica in general. I don't know much about the woman. I know that she is a native of, I believe, San Francisco, and she works in law. And she's very, very smart. She's very, very intelligent, but I'm going to be saying that a lot over the course of this video. So yes, here's the Spirit Keeper Tarot. My copy arrived yesterday, and I'm absolutely ecstatic with it. This, as usual, is not a review. It is a showcase. I will show you every single card, some rambling thoughts in the process. Let's get down to it. So here's the box. It's amazing. It's an amazing box. Very sturdy. Everything you need to keep your deck safe. It's one of these boxes that I can't imagine me substituting it for, a silk or a wooden box like this one over here. It's going to remain with this box, I believe. Now, what came with this deck? Now, if you don't know about the Spirit Keepers Tarot, Benebell Wen went to great pains to go through the whole process of creating the deck, and it was an absolutely fascinating journey, which that inspired me to go out of my way to get this. And more about availability later, but she shared almost every step of the journey with people on social media, over her Instagram and her Twitter, and indeed on her website. And it really made you feel part of the process in a way. It's a very personal deck to her. She's really bled her heart and her soul into this deck, and it shows. It absolutely shows. So what did we get? I'm going to replace my black moonstone with the box over here. There you go. So what do we get with this? And this is the amazingness just comes forth in here. So you got a little sticker. There's a Holy Guardian Angel, which is amazing. I have no idea where I'm going to stick my sticker, but it's going to be somewhere amazing. You also got a little fridge. Oh, I dropped it. You also got a fridge magnet, which has been living on my fridge. What was really cool about it was you could smell the oil. You can't see it. Can you see it? Yeah, you can see the oil, because Benebell consecrated every one of the 1,000 decks herself, which is amazing. And it smells lovely. You're going to have to take my word for that, as usual. But that's living on my fridge at the moment. You also got a nice little Orphic hymn. This is the Empress. This is the Empress here. This isn't the size of the cards. You'll see the cards. Nice little Orphic hymn, which I think is going to make a fine bookmark. You also got, this was amazing and a lovely surprise, a wee little bit of information about when she consecrated the deck. And this was consecrated on the 7th of November 2018, when it was a new moon in Scorpio, which I think is lovely and somewhat profound. And there's a little bit of astrological information in there, just to give you, inform you of when this deck was baptized, if you were. What I really like about this last sentence here: deck will be a powerful tool to practitioners of the craft, optimized to aid in conjure. Now, I don't know whether or not this is specific to the batch of decks that were consecrated at this time when the new moon was in Scorpio, or if it was a generic thing for all decks. I do not know, and please let me know. For those of you people who have the deck, let me know if your message is a little bit different. But that was a lovely wee touch. I liked that. You also got a wee white book, a little white book. Now, when Benebell was creating the deck, she said, "Oh yeah, there's a tiny bit of information in here. Not much. It's not much at all. That's false. That's not true. That the information in here is cracking. It's more than what you need to work with the deck, I would imagine." Yeah, she talks about the septenaries and how she breaks things down into the number cards, into the threes, the fours, the courts, etc., etc. So this comes with the deck, and you don't really need much else. However, she went to great pains to produce this book. This is the Book of Maps, and it's another tome. It's another tome. Now, legend has it that Benebell herself, I mean, she drew the cards herself. Obviously not individually every single deck, but she drew the cards in this lovely black and white kind of script here, and she wrote the book, which has reportedly got 400,000 words in it, in a space of 38 days, which is crazy. It's crazy. And that just exemplifies the work ethic, I think, behind the creation of this deck, the effort and the toil that's been put into it. And I can tell you now, I really appreciate it. So, yeah, what can I say about this book? I've read perhaps 20-25% of it. I'm working with it. I'm working my way through it quite diligently, I would like to say. And yeah, there's just so much information. But this is going to come through once we have a look at the deck, and we'll be coming back to the Book of Maps, I believe, I hope, I would imagine. You also get a certificate of authenticity. My deck is number 732. I have tried really hard to make this number mean something to me. Unfortunately, I'm coming up a bit of a blank, but that's fine. That's absolutely fine. At one point during the process, she was offering out, you know, particular deck numbers like 666 and 777, etc. 420. I didn't want to chime in. I really would have liked something with a 9. But I suppose, you know, 7 plus 2 is 9, divided by 3 is 3. I don't know, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's another nice touch. I have her autograph. It's amazing. You will feel a lot of love for Benebell Wen here, because I'm a great follower of her work. Her website is amazing, and I appreciate that the very few subscribers I have, I'm telling you to go and check her out. You may never come back to this channel after you do. I appreciate there's a danger of that. And sometimes, and this is not a criticism, but sometimes I use her content and her teachings, and I wonder why I make videos myself. It's a bit strange, if you like. But that's just the way it is. And other times I get very much inspired by the work that she does. But there you go. Let's just look at the deck, shall we? First of all, it's lovely quality, and as you may know, my views on card stock are always at odds with everybody else. But I am worried that if with use they might get a little bit scuffed up. But more on the use of that later. It's edged in this lovely. I mean, look at that. That's amazing, isn't it? That's amazing. So it's a beautiful object in itself, despite the things that you get with it, and despite the content, in as well as the content, it is a beautiful deck. It really is. So let's just crack on with it, shall we? So the first thing that you'll notice with the Spirit Keeper's Tarot is there are 3 versions of the Fool card. Let me just get myself organised here. So yeah, three versions of the Fool. One being the Initiate, and if you were to break down the symbology, and bear in mind, I am not an adept at this deck. I've had it a day. I've had the book for, I don't know, maybe just over a month perhaps, and like I say, I've been working through it, but the symbology is crazy deep in this deck. crazy deep, and so I won't be able to elucidate too much on what we see here, because there's so much in here. However, here's the Initiate, one of the 3 versions of the full card, Spirit in Search of Experience. This is probably the card that probably relates more to the traditional full card, mostly because you've got a dog figure, a fox, a spirit guide if you want, or a spirit familiar, waiting to accompany you on your journey, and there is the journey laid out for you. There is indeed a chasm here, so that leap of faith is replicated, if you like. And what I really like about the Initiate card is it's from the first person view, so I like to think that you are the Initiate and this is the path that's laid out before you, if you like. So yes, you're already sitting inside the deck, as it were. I like that. The second version of the full card is the Seeker, Spirit in Search of Science, and lots of cool things going on here. This is one of the alternate glyphs for Uranus. Uranus is associated with the full card and that airy quality as well, so you've got a correspondence there too. The third version is the Keeper, a lovely image, and Benebell, when creating this deck, kind of expound on the fact that this is an image of her mother, which is lovely. This is Spirit in Petition of Spirit. So yes, why are there 3 different full cards? Well, they serve different functions, and I should probably mention that despite the symbology being deep and varied throughout the whole deck, you can use it just as a regular tarot deck. The suits are the same. There's the same amount of cards, excluding the 2 extra full cards. Yeah, and the imagery is very either top based or Waite Smith based. So if you just wanted to use the deck, or if you were getting a reading with the deck, you can use the normal attributes or the traditional attributes, as you probably are already aware with. So that's quite good. But if you want to dive deeper, which my gut feeling is most people will, then it opens up whole new worlds for you. So anyway, the three versions of the full here, they do have specific functions. The Initiate, the clues in the name, the Initiate. So if you're starting a new project or a new venture, a new endeavor, or you want information about a specific thing that you're beginning on, this path, as it were, then this is the version of the full that you would probably want to use in this. The Seeker is more geared towards classical divination, I would say. You're seeking knowledge, Spirit in Search of Science, and under the word science, I feel that it's geared towards the attainment of knowledge, things hidden from you, things unknown, indeed, if the future, if that's where you wanted to go. This is the version of the full card that you probably want to use for that function. And then there's the Keeper here, Spirit in Petition of Spirit. So I'll say this now, the Spirit Keeper's Tarot, again, the clues in the name, it's very spirit orientated. There's a lot of talk about your holy guardian angel and connecting with that divinity, if you like. And this is the version of the full card, if you wanted to connect to that divine voice that could very well be within inside you or out with you in different realms. So this is the card that you'll want to be needing. And I'll say this now in case I forget, this is probably the version of the full that I'm going to be using most, in keeping with the vibe of the Spirit Keeper Tarot. I hope that makes sense. I will try and articulate that better as I go through the video. I'm going to put the full cards up here just so that we can see them. I did consider very, very briefly to do quite an in-depth, but I need more knowledge, to be perfectly honest. I need more knowledge of the deck to actually, have a more erudite view of it. But in the meantime, I haven't actually gone through every single card. I've seen every image because Benebell has always been very open about the images that she was producing, and plus I've had the book, so I've seen every image, but I haven't looked at every card yet. So we're just gonna, as I want to do, just go through them as they are. So here we go with the Magician, or the Magus. You have the Ouroboros, a very ornate Ouroboros, and instead of the suits, you have, well, the suits are expounded alchemically: mercury, aqua or water, salt and sulfur, Or, let me see if I get this right, water is obviously or water or cups. Mercury is going to be air, and it's interesting that the glyph for Mercury is the only thing that touches the Ouroboros at this point. Sulfur is going to be fire or wands or scepters in this case, and salt is earth, because the salt of the earth, salting the earth, whatever. So you still have those attributes there. I'm not even going to dive into the imagery, but you've got these roses, very rosy Curusian in their images, and it means everything. It means everything. I want to make sure I give you a good look at all of these cards, and let's just crack on, shall we? Okay, so here is the High Priestess, the Moon, pomegranates, the triple moon, and again, you a lot of the imagery will be repeated and will be familiar in many of the cards, and some not so much. But as you can see, the layout of the card, you have Benebell's own title, so this is the Sanctuary of Isis. You've got the number, the title, and the astrological element attribution. You know what I'm talking about. And the High Priestess is indeed the Moon card. I cannot remember what these are, they're not Hebrew letters. At least I don't think they are. I will know if I look at the Hermit. No, they're not. I can't remember. That's cuneiform, maybe? I think that may be cuneiform. Yes, anyway, let's crack on. Here is the Empress. We've seen this image before. The pelican pops up. Ooh, the pelican pops up a few times. Again, it means something. And as you can see, these are all hand-drawn images that have been reproduced. And you'll also notice they're in black and white. Now, 120 years ago, if you were a follower of Paul Foster Case, one of the things that he would get you to do is to colour your own deck. And I believe somebody somewhere out there has, here's the Emperor, has suggested that we colour these decks ourselves. No way. I am not touching this deck with anything other than my own wee fingers. Benebell in the Book of Maps does suggest that you colour it psychically. So when you're using the deck, so here's the Emperor. So a lot of red would be coming through once you're thinking about it. And I love the idea of that, colouring it psychically. So really delving into the imagery, into the actual artistic value of the card, and then peppering it with your own colour seems like an awesome idea. So yep, here's the Emperor. What I really love about this card is, yeah, you've got the horns of the ram, so it's Aries obviously, but this beak here also kind of apes the glyph of Aries, which is amazing. Let's crack on. The Hierophant has become the Holy See. You've got the Taurian elements in there. There's a lot of Latin in this deck as well, and I haven't studied Latin for, how old am I? Old. 30 years. So, some of that Vicarius Filii Dei, something about the Vicar of God, perhaps. Yeah, and some of the imagery, there are a few decks. The top deck does have bull elephants in some of the Taurian cards as well, so that's kind of cute. The Taurian bull here, an inverted ankh, which is interesting. The symbol of benediction. Awesome. Let's crack on. Cracking on. The Lovers. Here is the Lovers, the Eagle and the Phoenix. A lot of Kabbalistic influences. You could make a list of all the influences, and one of the things Benebell is quite specific in, I would say, is her command and mastery of so many esoteric traditions throughout the world. So you've got Golden Dawn, Kabbalah, you've got Wicca, witchcraft, you have I Ching, Buddhism, the cuneiform, Egyptian, so many different, and she blends them so well, because a lot of the attributes and a lot of the feelings behind these esoteric traditions are very much aligned in many ways. I would say I'm more of a Western practitioner, so I can pick up on the Western things, and I would also suggest that Kabbalah is Middle Eastern, in its Jewish mystic roots, as it were. So there's a lot of stuff that really does go over my head, to be honest, which is great because it means I've got a lot to learn. And I think this deck is going to be a gateway to these Eastern traditions, that the Buddhism, the Taoism, if you like. So yeah. Let's move on. The Chariot. Lux et Veritas. I can't remember. Love and God. I don't know. But yeah, some. This is crazy good. Look at these. The sphinxes at the bottom there. One is just eyes, and one's just got this mouth here. So, seeing the truth and speaking the truth, I believe, is the idea behind that. So there's the Chariot. Benebell explains exactly why she chose to go with the Waitsmith of having strength, or the Leo card in number 8, and not going with the top, the top deck or the Marseille deck had justice in this position. She explains why. There are very good reasons. I can't remember. What I love about this is you've got the constellation of Leo here with the star Regulus being quite profound there. Again, you'll be very familiar with this image of that feminine idea of taming that primal strength. And you've got this rather elaborate Ouroboros going on there. Awesome. Here is the Hermit. Interesting here, called the Erudite, the Hermit of Mysteries. You have the lamp, the Virgo attributions with the sheath of corn. What I also really like about this is there's no hidden there. So, technically, the Hermit is hidden in this card. Yay. Wheel of Fortune. All sorts of crazy things going on in here. You've got the Zodiac. You have phases of the moon. 8 phases indeed. You have the tarot mixed with the alchemical elements, and I believe you've got is it the cuneiform tetragrammaton, I believe, and then you've got the elemental again. So alchemy is another strong thing that comes through the Spirit Keeper's tarot, and a lot of people presume that alchemy was trying to turn lead into gold, amongst other things. But once you dive deeper, it's about bringing the best out of yourself, changing yourself. So yes, that is another one of the very strong themes running throughout this deck, which is very similar in vibe to the top deck. Crowley and Lady Frida Harris were very, very concerned about expounding on the uses of alchemy and why and where we do it. As usual with my deck showcases, I'm kind of lagging a little bit, so let's pick up the pace. Here is Justice, now known the Chancellor. Yep. The Hangman is now called the Outlaw, which is awesome. I love this Hangman. I love it so much. I want this tattoo. I really do. I would love that. I would absolutely love it. Yeah, Sacrifice and Redemption. So that the titles of the cards do indeed give you a good clue as to the vibe of the cards, and that does link into what you may already be aware of for the traditional meanings of the cards. Here's Death, Great Death card, very similar to the Waitsmith. Scorpio is indeed very prominent in here. Passage to Initiation, giving you that rebirth. Now, what I love about this is that the cards are so intrinsically linked. Here is Temperance, now called the Angel, and you'll recognise this angel does reoccur. Like I said before, the connecting with the Holy Guardian Angel is quite important with this deck, and so this angel does pop up quite a lot. And if we were to put these cards side by side, and you'll see that the light from the angel is shining through in the Death card, which is amazing. There's a reason for it. I can't remember it, but there you go. So yep, there's Temperance, the angel. Next up is, of course, the Devil. The Devil has been renamed the Demon, which I love it. We've got the Phoenix and the Dragon again. You saw them in the Lovers, and as you may or may not know, the Lovers and the Devil are again linked in very profound ways. Sorry if this is the Demon. The Devil is very specific to Christian mysticism, if you ask me. Specifically, Catholicism, dating back to when Dante decided that hell was a thing. So this is now called the Demon. Battling the Typhon. Typhon is indeed that beastly presence and essence that terrorized, or amongst other cultures, terrorized the Greek gods, if you like. Here is the tower. The tower is called the tower. Remarkable. Material and spiritual colliding. That vast and unalterable. I don't know what I'm looking for. You can't run away from the change the tower brings. I'm going to be trying, really. I will try and show you these cards as best as I can without getting too excited and dribbling everywhere, because clearly you can see how much I love this deck already. I've had it for just over 24 hours and I love it. So here is the star, now called the healer. Again, you will recognize a lot of what's going on here. Beautiful, beautiful stuff, and you can get really lost in these cards. That's probably a point I should have made a little bit later, but hey, never mind. Necromancer. The Necromancer is the moon. And again, just look at the stuff going on here. It's amazing. It is amazing. So yeah, Gateway of Resurrection. And some of these titles, at first glance you may think, okay, well, why are they called that? But of course there are very obvious reasons why. Temperance is the angel, and the Necromancer is the moon. That idea of constant rebirth, of changing it. And the moon is linked to spirit worlds and things have passed and things have to come. Yeah, what more can I say? Not a lot, or a lot, I don't know. The sun has become the warrior, master of the mystic light. Some of those attributes of the sun in a lot of decks is, following your bliss, finding your true purpose, and bringing out the joy in your life. And sometimes to do that, we do need to tap into a little bit of a warrior spirit to really stand up for ourselves. It's a really happy card, and you look at it, even though it's black and white, you instantly get that idea of radiance and yellows. And if I was to colour it, which I never will, I would colour these in orange and red, and this would be yellow, and I'm sure it would be amazing. If I could buy another deck and colour it in, I would love to, but I'd just mess it up, and, well, it's all sold out now anyway. So Judgment is now Apocalypse. Very much the similar sort of thing. You can see the Tree of Life, or the Tree of Knowledge there. And all sorts of crazy, crazy cool stuff going on. The Alpha and the Omega. There's an Ibis. 2 Ibis. Ibises. Ibisi. I don't know. Here is the world, or the New World Order, which is somewhat ominous, I would say. But again, okay, right, we're coming up to the half an hour mark. We're going to crack on. So now we get to, okay, so Benebell has purposely ordered the deck in a very particular way. She explains it all in the Book of Maps. I cannot remember. I've read about it, but I can't remember. So here we start off with the aces. Here we have the aces. The Ace of Sceptres, which is indeed, of course, wands. The Ace of Chalices, which, of course, is the cups. Sacred Fire, Holy Watered. Sacred Cinnabar for the Ace of Swords. What does it mean? I don't know. I'm not going to look it up right now. I will as soon as I get off. I'm sure I will. And the Ace of Orbs, which is Pentacles, the Darkening. It's just so rich. It's so rich in crazy good stuff. It's amazing. So yep, they're the aces, and then you come on to the twos. So here we go, and yep, traditionally we go fire, water, air, earth, or wands, cups, swords, and pentacles. And here we go, scepters, chalices, swords, and orbs. So there we go. Here's the two of wands, Mars and Aries. 2 of cups, Venus in Cancer, and that is, as we know, the love card, and it's just lovely, isn't it? It's just lovely. Loving this. The 2 of Swords, the Blind Seer. Yeah, and all the pip cards, if you like, all have their own titles. I will try and mention them as we go through. The Nocturne, the 2 of Orbs, Change and Balance. I just love it so much. Jupiter in Capricorn. Here we have the 3s, the Politic, the three of Wands, Sun in Aries. Three of Chalices, the kindred. I love that idea. You know, the Three of Cups is always for me the card of spending time with your pals, having a bit of a party, you know, or you know, an intimate celebration, and that's exactly what's going on there. There's that pelican again, popping up. Yeah, the Two of Cups is a Mercury in Cancer. Sorry, the Three of Cups. Whew. Three of Swords is Saturn in Libra. That, and again, you know, the imagery you're going to be very familiar with. The three swords piercing the heart. You've got all sorts of other stuff going on there, but yeah, oh, interesting. You know, you got the clouds, which is very familiar too. Very familiar. Three of Orbs, Three of Pentacles, the Mason. That idea of good work. You know, that idea of work with integrity, I would say. Mars in Capricorn. Moving on to, and yeah, okay, so you've got that first initial start there, the ace, the twos and the threes, and already you have that, you've got that mini journey, if you like, the mini journey of initiation and then effort and then and kind of completion. So Benebell has now put in the court cards, and then they're named rather differently, but it's the same sort of vibe. So with the pages, the pages, you have the archangels. Here we have the pages of scepters, the archangel of glory, the archangel of healing for the chalices, the archangel or the page of swords. Am I getting that right? I think I am. Archangel commander, angel of the storms and battles for the swords. The archangel of mysteries for the orbs. You can see the orb right in there. An interesting Medusa going on. Angel who illuminates the shadows. Yes, I believe they're the pages. I am absolutely certain the shields are the knights. Here we have the golden shield, power of authority of fire. So the Knight of Wands, the Knight of Cups here. And yeah, you know, it sounds really alien now that I'm saying page knight, because they are very specific. Angels and shields and strongholds, and I can't remember the other one. Here we go, the shining stuff. I don't know. So it sounds alien saying knights and pages at this point, because they're very different here. The scarlet shield, so the shield of swords, if you like. The ebony shield. Yes, the court cards is something I've not really delved into in the Spirit Keeper Tarot. I think that's kind of obvious here, so let's just blast through them. The Shining Flame, that I would suggest that this is the Queens, if you like. I say that out loud. Let's just move on, shall we? Shining Flame, the Shining Dew with the chalices, the Shining Winds with the swords, the Shining Quarry with the orbs. Finally, in these court cards, strongholds, stronghold of fire, stronghold of the Grail, stronghold of the Zephyrs, stronghold of the Veil. I'm getting a kind of Game of Thrones vibing from those ones. So yeah, awesome. So then you move on to the rest of the pips. Here are the fours. Let's just crack through these, shall we? Here is the Four of Wands, the party. I'd like to think that interesting person with a bow and arrow. Why? I will look it up. The four of chalices, Four of Cups looks very, very familiar. That kind of rest, almost a Buddhist vibe going on there. But yeah, you've got that disembodied hand holding the chalice out. Marvelous. Again, the Four of Swords, the convalescent. There's the Holy Guardian Angel, just watching over you while you take your well-earned rest. The Conservator, Sun in Capricorn. Very demon-esque image going on there. That is the Four of Orbs. Here are the fives. Get that strife again. You've got that sort of crisscross action going on there. Five of Scepters, the Contender, Saturn in Leo, the Grotesque, Five of Chalices, that sadness, that loss, that almost despairing card. Again, very familiar. The Hector. Hector, is that the Greek myth? I don't know. What's the what's the point of the bull's head here? You got Venus, which is, you know, a ruler of Taurus, but this is Venus in Aquarius. Who knows? That's the Five of Swords. The Five of Pentacles, the Five of Orbs, one of my favourite cards for all sorts of reasons. Mercury in Taurus. Again, you a very similar image, but are we getting well, the Vagabond? Of course, you got that sort of poverty vibe coming through. We're gonna have to go much quicker now. Here are the sixes. Let's just show you these cards. The Champion, Six of Wands. The Memory Keeper, Six of Chalices, that nostalgia, that's perfect, perfect. The Ferryman, Six of Swords, moving on to better places. The Six of Pentacles, that charity card. The Giver, perfect, it's amazing. Here are the sevens. Seven of Wands, the Dark Horse. I love it, that guy standing up for what he believes in. Mars in Leo. The Corruptor, Debauch, brilliant, I love it. Seven of Cups, illusionary success. Here's the Rogue for the Seven of Swords. Moon in Aquarius. The Gardener, that's perfect, isn't it? Saturn in Taurus, Seven of Orbs. Okay, here are the eights. Eight of Wands, that swiftness. The Sharpshooter. If you've watched my Tarot and Astrology Sagittarius video, I do talk about that a little bit more. Eight of Cups, the Defector, brilliant. Moving on again. The Captor, Eight of Swords. Capturing by what, we ask ourselves? Well, you know, you're the captor to your own thoughts. The Journeyman, the Eight of Pentacles, the Eight of Orbs. Nearly at the end now. Here are the nines. The Malaise, the Nine of Wands, the Nine of Scepters. Very defensory. The Moon in Sagittarius, there's the Moon. Perfect, perfect. In fact, going at speed is making me appreciate these cards in even more detail, I think. The Wish Granted, Nine of Cups. Brilliant. Jupiter in Pisces. Here is, you know, the Haunt. Isn't that amazing? The Haunt. You know, sleepless nights. You've got this demon coming over you. I love it. I love it. Nine of Orbs, the Eminence. I like to think that that is the Empress, the unveiled Empress in a way. Perfect. Finally, the tens. Ten of Scepters, Ten of Wands. You're nearly there, pal. Just a little further. The Ten of Chalices, the joyous one. And these attributes are amazing. The Dynasty, that card of, you know, that in the Waite-Smith, that guy sitting there with all his worldly possessions. Mercury and Virgo. And finally, the last card of the deck, the Destroyer, the Ten of Swords. What a way to end this video on. Yes, the Ten of Swords. Yeah, it kind of brings forth that idea of ruin. Again, the symbolism, look at that sign of benediction there. Again, very much like the Waite-Smith. Amazing, amazing. I'm going to finish it off there. It's an amazing deck. This is going to be a deck that, I mean, one of my concerns about this deck is it's just so nice. I wouldn't want to scuff it up. I cannot see me doing this for quick fire readings for people. Sorry, this is going to be just for me. I was going to tell you what I'm going to be using this deck for, and I'm going to tap into the whole idea of spirit, and this is the full card that I'm going to be using it with. I'm not going to use this for ritual. I'm not going to use this for my own divination. I'm going to use it to try and connect it to that divine voice. That is what I'm going to be using this deck for. It will go into use, and also it's going to be for study. I'm going to learn so much from this deck. So finally, just to finish off in my last 60 seconds, the final thing that I really want to say, and it's a personal message to Benebell. I think what you have created here is remarkable. It's amazing. I think the tarot community, the tarot world, is incredibly proud of what you've done, and I'd like to actually just suggest that I think this deck is going to go down as one of those decks that it's going to be a turning point for tarot, if you like. As important as the Waite-Smith, as important as the top, because it is amazing. So thank you so much, Benebell. And if you ever decide to start a cult, or you know you want to start an army, just give me a call, hit me up. I will shave my head and, I don't know, pierce my nipples for your cause, because I'm more than a fan. I'm your student, and I can't thank you enough for this deck. It's remarkable. that's all I've got to say. Thank you very much. I am the Hidden Hermit. Please check out Benebell's website. There's going to be a second edition of this at some point in the future. But in the meantime, thank you very much for watching. Hidden Hermit signing off. Thank you.